The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. I've been doing those mini reviews on the site, and they're kind of fun. And again, credit goes to Zach, who was doing them, and I like the idea of talking comics more, even in this fashion. So did those. Probably I'm going to veer more towards some of the independents, some of the ones that do not get as much hype and promotion as Marvel. They've got their own, media engine. They don't need more, but sometimes there's fun things to illustrate. But I wanted to do this one as an actual video because it requires a little bit more context and it's pretty wild as I think about it. This comic I keep coming back to in my mind. So Jonathan Hickman, of course, who did Hoxpox and was part of the Ultimate Universe way long ago, teamed up with Bryan Hitch, who of course with Mark Millar did the Ultimates, which was kind of the signature book ultimately as it came out of the Ultimate Universe, no pun intended. And so they're up to do Ultimate Invasion, which is a mini-series that then kicks off the new Ultimate Universe. And clearly what's happening is it's, Jonathan Hickman is world building a little bit to kind of lay out what this new world's going to look like, the dynamic, the power structures, the different pieces of it. And really, this issue that we're talking about here, issue 3, is where a lot of those plans come into effect. The first issue of Ultimate Invasion was really all about kind of current Marvel Universe 616, a little bit of Miles Morales, and the Maker wanting to kind of depart to do his own thing and construct a world. The second issue was really about how he was manipulating things. We got an action sequence against the Maker in the city. And then he hit this third issue. And this third issue is it's painful. So before I talk about this issue, I want to read you the solicitation here. Okay, this is how basically how Marvel is promoting this comic. So, go to their official site, issue number 3, Jonathan Hickman, penciler Bryan Hitch, $6.99 cover price, or sorry, $5.99 cover price, my apologies, $6 total. And here's the solicitation. After Kang descends on the city of tomorrow and the Illuminati must regroup, Iron Man has a heart-to-heart with Tony Stark. Dr. Doom, the Anti-Maker, prepares his own plans to deal with his evil Reed Richards and the Ultimate Universe that the Maker thought he had rebuilt, frays at the edges as they prepare for cosmic war.
You sit on a throne of lies.
All right. Spoilers, almost none of that happens in this issue. Like, you will briefly see Kang at the end. The Iron Man, has a heart-to-heart with Tony Stark. In this case, Howard Stark has a heart-to-heart with Tony Stark, sort of. We briefly see Dr. Doom. If he's preparing plans, we don't know about it. And we don't really get a sense that the Ultimate Universe is fraying around the edges, although, sure, why not? So that solicitation is far more exciting than what you're about to get. So here's the challenge. Bryan Hitch is a pretty great artist, and in this issue, there are lots of pictures of people looking sad. And I have to imagine this is Hitch feeling, there has to be some personal feeling about drawing this issue, which it is, it is 26 pages, I think, of Hitch art. I don't know, there's a lot of data sheets in here, so that may be a little bit of an exaggeration, but let's say 24 pages of Hitch art. It doesn't look like his most detailed work. It's certainly rough. There's a, probably drawing digitally effect going on here where, there is an inker, Andrew Curry, but it is more scratchy than usual. Some of the backgrounds are nice. I mean, Hitch is an amazing talent. But basically, in this comic, he is forced for 24 pages to draw people standing around. That is what this comic is. And if you think that's an exaggeration, it is not. The comic begins with 3 pages, one splash, one double page, of a funeral. And it's people standing around the funeral. They're looking sad because it's a funeral. And there's some dialogue back and forth where Howard Stark is talking to Tony Stark about the death of Obadiah Stane, who is a friend in this world. And then we get 1, 2, 3 data sheets, or two. Well, not that, I mean, we get kind of chapter pages. There's no data actually in there. We get a chapter 3, a credits page, and then another little image of a core circle with lines springing out from it, which I think is meant to look Hickman impressive, but it is the lazy version. And then in what is the bulk of the comic, we get 13 pages of Latvernia, and Howard Stark is standing in a foyer with really impressive characters that will probably look really cool when they go into battle, like the Silver Samurai, the Viper, Sunfire, Sunspot, a newish Captain Britain, sort of, a different Moon Knight. The Hulk is here, Magic and Colossus. And for 13 pages, although I think at least 2 of these pages are big splash images, we get a conversation in the foyer about how the world kind of trades off who's the antagonist and who's not. This is a long talking sequence. Occasionally they reference bits of action, like Howard Stark said, "I tried to introduce myself to Yoshida earlier, but a samurai cut me off by showing me his blade." That's the only hint of action and conflict we get. Even the Hulk is here doing a lot of he says things could make him angry, but mostly he's just talking. This is a long conversation. Eventually the Maker shows up, and there's more conversation, and that's it. That is the bulk of the comic. It is a conversation in a hallway. Is this comic that they charge you $6 for? They then go to 2 more data sheets where they show the world made up of a bunch of dots and clusters. Sorry, they're not dots. They're little hexagon dots, and no, they're dots. Never mind. I'm looking closer. They're just dots. Some of the dots are different size. They all have colors, and it basically talks about where the seats of power are in this world. We get one kind of mystery location, which is Wakanda, and that's so there's that. And we see the world is remade. You get the different regions. Interesting on a kind of intellectual level, I guess. And then we get another 5 pages of Tony Stark talking to Howard Stark on a helicopter. So we get that. And then we get a couple pages of Howard Stark and the Maker back in his lab, where we meet Dr. Doom, who is Reed Richards, has become Dr. Doom here. Or it's a different Reed Richards, or who knows. But anyway, he's standing there making something. There's no indication of anything going on. They're like, here's Dr. Doom over here. And then we get 3 pages of the far future, where we get a bunch of multiversal versions of Cap and Thor and Vision and etc. And we see that Kang has assembled kind of the core members of the Ultimates, the Wasp, Hank Pym, and he's got, I don't know, hundreds of clones or copies, multiversal copies of these characters. And Kang is saying, we're going to go into battle, and with kind of these clone versions. Now, the challenge is Jason Aaron just gave us this in his Avengers War with the multiversal Masters of Evil during his run, and now we've got the Ultimate Universe Kang, who looks a little bit more like Iron Man here. He's more armored up, and he is getting ready to go attack the Maker, I guess, with all these versions of these cloned versions of the Ultimate. At any rate, that's the comic. The thing to convey here, though, is, number one, you've got a really amazing talent in Bryan Hitch, and he has got to do 24-odd pages of people standing around talking, many of them looking unhappy. Because as an artist, you're not going to be selling any of this art. Of course you will, but there's a nice big full page of Dr. Doom's face. That probably work okay. You've got, a big single page of Kang. That one might go all right. You've got, some cloned Captain Americas maybe, but a lot of this, this isn't going to be amazing for art sales, but that's fine. No, it's not all about that. But this comic it blows you away that this is issue number 3, and the crux of it is a long hallway conversation, and not a particularly good one. It's just kind of introductions and, hey, how are you doing? And here's something. I'm like, it is it's mind blowing that this is what's going on. And the sad part is, you look at this page and it's super detailed. You see all this background stuff. You see like ornate furnishings and frames and all that. So you're like, God damn, this is some good artwork here of a of a of a conversation in a hallway. It blows you away. If there's if there's something that really exemplifies kind of the promise and tragedy, I think right now, of U.S. comics, it's this issue. It's $6. It's beautifully rendered, but the art, it doesn't really convey any of the kind of majesty of superheroes. I don't think every page needs to be big fights or anything like that, but it's, a very, AI could do this job. This is the way to put it. This is a job for AI here. And it's you look at this, you're like, man, God, this is such a good artist. Bryan Hitch is such an amazing artist, and he's being used to have. This issue doesn't show the restraint that Brian Michael Bendis shows. Like Bendis wouldn't even go this far. Was just talk. And then you throw in a couple of kind of the signature data sheets out there to. Unfortunately, you read this and you feel like I like Hickman, I like his writing, but it's hard not to see this as you're clowning the company you're working for and everybody reading this by putting this stuff in here that just, it makes it feel intellectual. It's not. And you're charged $6 for this. I don't know. It's definitely a different kind of thing. It's weird if you're going to take a stance of, hey, I think a comic by, Jonathan Hickman and Bryan Hitch is not a recommend. Like, nobody in the right mind would do it. But I will do it here because it is, it's just hard to stomach this as a, first of all, launch to a new universe, something you're supposed to get excited about. I mean, you kind of look at this, go, my God, please just write a novel. Like, this is where there needs to be a new genre, I think, where there's like, some imagery kind of on one, like basically a novel with more pictures. Remember when you were a kid and you'd like pick up a book, and if you're like me, when you were a kid, you'd thumb through it to see if there were illustrations or pictures in the book. And if his book was 0 illustrations, you're like, ah, damn it. And I remember thinking more than once, like, I love comic books. I do like to read. I wish there was something a little bit more in the middle. There are these classic books. They were like small sized, where there was text on one side and a picture on the other. The images were usually pretty crude, but it really kind of helped bring to life what was going on in that book. And you look at stuff like this and you're like, hey, Hickman really needs to create that new genre of book where he's just able to write and then, have more art than usual. So it's not just text, but it's, what I can't get over is people just look miserable in this book. And I can't help but think that's how poor old Bryan Hitch feels. Anyway, are you reading The Ultimate Invasion? Are you reading this Ultimate Universe? Are you excited about this relaunch? Let me know in the comments below what you think. But wow,